For centuries, what we knew about our own history was a patchwork of legends, myths, and educated guesses. The real story of humanity was buried, hidden under layers of earth, sand, and ice. Then came archaeology. Not in one big moment, but as a long, incredible series of discoveries that completely rewrote the story of us. Who we are, where we came from, and just how advanced our ancestors truly were. From cities frozen in time to artifacts that defied logic, these finds are our clearest windows into the past. Let's start with a piece of stone that changed everything, the Rosetta Stone. Discovered by French soldiers in Egypt in 1799, this slab wasn't much to look at. But it held an incredible secret. It was inscribed with the same text in 3 different scripts: ancient Greek, Demotic, and Egyptian hieroglyphs. For over 1,000 years, hieroglyphs had been a silent, beautiful mystery. But with the Greek text as a key, scholars could finally crack the code. Suddenly, an entire civilization began to speak again. The history, religion, and daily lives of the ancient Egyptians, which had been sealed away for millennia, were now open for us to read. Without this single stone, our knowledge of one of the world's greatest empires would be almost non-existent. But what if I told you that organized religion might be older than farming? For the longest time, we believed that humans first settled down, started agriculture, and then, with more free time, developed complex societies and spiritual beliefs. Then, in the 1990s, archaeologists in Turkey uncovered Göbekli Tepe. This site is simply mind-blowing. Dating back to around 9,500 BC, it is 6,000 years older than Stonehenge and 7,000 years older than the Great Pyramid of Giza. We're talking about a time when humans were thought to be simple hunter-gatherers. Yet, here were massive, intricately carved stone pillars, some weighing up to 20 tons, ranged in perfect circles. These weren't homes, they were temples. This single discovery flipped our understanding of civilization on its head. It suggests that it was the drive to come together for ritual and belief that may have pushed humans to innovate, settle down, and eventually, create agriculture. The desire for a sacred space might have been the spark that ignited civilization itself. Sometimes, it's a disaster that preserves the past with chilling clarity. We've all heard of Pompeii. In 79 CE, Mount Vesuvius erupted, burying the bustling Roman city under a thick blanket of volcanic ash. For nearly 1,500 years, it lay silent and untouched. When it was rediscovered, it was as if time had stopped. Archaeologists found entire streets, homes, bakeries with bread still in the ovens, and vibrant frescoes still on the walls. Most hauntingly, they found the voids in the ash left by people in their final moments, which they filled with plaster to create detailed casts. Pompeii isn't just a ruin, it's an unmatched snapshot of daily Roman life, from wealthy elites to enslaved workers. No written text could ever give us this raw, unfiltered look into the ancient world. But Pompeii isn't the only city frozen in time. Even older and perhaps more mysterious is Akrotiri, on the Greek island of Santorini. Around 1600 BC, a massive volcanic eruption buried this vibrant Minoan port city. Like Pompeii, Akrotiri was astonishingly preserved. But what archaeologists found was shocking for the Bronze Age: multi-story buildings, sophisticated indoor plumbing, and toilets, paved streets, and stunningly beautiful frescoes depicting scenes of naval processions, exotic animals, and daily life. The level of artistry and engineering was far beyond what anyone thought possible for that era. The city was also mysteriously empty. There were no bodies found, suggesting its inhabitants had enough warning to evacuate. The sudden and violent disappearance of such an advanced civilization has led many to speculate that Akrotiri might be the real-life inspiration for Plato's story of the lost city of Atlantis. Of course, some of the most famous discoveries are the Great Pyramids of Egypt. For centuries, the popular image was that they were built by thousands of enslaved people, whipped into submission under the hot sun. This idea, largely popularized by Hollywood, shaped how we viewed ancient Egyptian society. But an archaeological discovery near the Giza Plateau completely shattered this myth. In the 1990s, archaeologists found the tombs of the pyramid builders. These weren't unmarked graves of slaves. They were honored burial sites for skilled workers. The skeletons showed signs of hard labor, but also evidence of medical care, like set bones and amputations. They were buried with bread, beer, and tools for the afterlife, and their titles like Inspector of the Craftsmen were inscribed on the tombs. This proved that the pyramids were built by a dedicated, respected workforce of Egyptian citizens who took pride in their national project. It paints a picture not of a brutal slave state, but of a highly organized society capable of motivating a massive, paid labor force. Our own family tree has been redrawn again and again by archaeology. One of the most famous discoveries in human evolution is Lucy, a 3.2-million-year-old skeleton found in Ethiopia in 1974. Lucy belonged to a species called Australopithecus afarensis. She was tiny, but her skeleton was revolutionary. Her leg and pelvic bones proved that she walked upright, on two legs. Yet, her brain was still very small, about the size of a chimpanzee's. This turned the theory of human evolution upside down. We had always assumed that our big brains came first, leading us to walk upright and create tools. Lucy proved the opposite. Our ancestors were walking bipedally millions of years before their brains started to expand significantly. More recent finds, like Homo naledi in South Africa, have made our family tree even more complex and fascinating, showing that for much of history, multiple species of early humans coexisted on the planet at the same time. Not all game-changing discoveries are massive cities or ancient bones. Sometimes, they're small, intricate objects that completely defy our expectations. In 1901, divers exploring a 2,000-year-old Roman shipwreck off the Greek island of Antikythera found a corroded lump of bronze. For decades, no one knew what it was. But as technology improved, scientists were able to scan it and reveal its inner workings. What they found was jaw-dropping. It was an incredibly complex system of interlocking bronze gears. It wasn't a clock, it was an astronomical calculator, the world's first known analog computer. This device, now known as the Antikythera mechanism, could predict the positions of the sun, moon, and planets, and even foretell eclipses. The complexity of its gearwork wouldn't be seen again in human technology for over 1,000 years. It is a stunning reminder that our ancestors' knowledge could be far more advanced than we ever imagined, and makes you wonder what other knowledge was lost to time. Of course, the written word has its own survival stories. Imagine hiding precious scrolls in a cave, hoping someone, someday, will find them. That's exactly what happened with the Dead Sea Scrolls. Discovered by a Bedouin shepherd in the 1940s, these manuscripts were hidden in desert caves near the Dead Sea for nearly 2,000 years. They contain some of the oldest known versions of the Hebrew Bible, along with other previously unknown religious texts. Their discovery was a bombshell for biblical scholarship, giving us a direct look at the scriptures as they existed around the time of Jesus. Similarly, the unearthing of the library of Ashurbanipal in ancient Nineveh gave us tens of thousands of clay tablets, preserving the knowledge of Mesopotamia. Among them was the complete Epic of Gilgamesh, the oldest known work of literature in human history, containing a flood story that predates the one in the Bible. Archaeology also reveals our shared humanity and emotions across millennia. In a Roman-era port on the Red Sea coast of Egypt, archaeologists found a pet cemetery. Dating back nearly 2,000 years, this wasn't just a dumping ground. It was a place where people lovingly buried their animal companions, mostly cats and dogs. Many were wrapped in blankets or placed in little coffins. Some were even found with iron collars or beaded necklaces. One cat was buried with a wing of a large bird next to it, like a final meal. This sight is a powerful, touching reminder that the deep bond between humans and their pets is not a modern phenomenon. Love and grief are truly timeless. Finally, some discoveries force us to rewrite the very first chapters of human history. For decades, the prevailing theory was that the first humans arrived in the Americas around 13,000 years ago. But then came the footprints. At White Sands National Park in New Mexico, scientists discovered thousands of fossilized human footprints preserved in an ancient lakebed. Using new dating techniques on seeds embedded in the prints, they found them to be an astonishing 21,000 to 23,000 years old. This pushed back the timeline of human arrival in the Americas by nearly 10,000 years. And the footprints tell a vivid story. They weren't just made by lone hunters. There are countless prints of teenagers and children, suggesting families were on the move. You can almost see them, thousands of years ago, kids splashing and playing in the mud as their parents walked along the shore. From the Rosetta Stone to the White Sands footprints, these discoveries do so much more than just fill museum halls. They dismantle our old assumptions, challenge our textbooks, and connect us to the people of the distant past. They show us that our ancestors weren't primitive shadows, but brilliant engineers, profound artists, deep thinkers, and loving parents. They remind us that history isn't a fixed, dead thing. It's alive, dynamic, and still waiting to be uncovered, right beneath our feet. And who knows what story will rise from the earth next to change everything we think we know. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey through the past, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more stories that rewrite history. See you next time.